Learning phonemes is essential for literacy instruction because it provides foundational reading, writing, and language comprehension skills. Phonemic awareness and phonics instruction enable learners to decode words accurately, build vocabulary, develop spelling and writing skills, and become proficient readers. A scheme or framework for organizing sounds as one's language is essential because it promotes consistency, supports learning and literacy development, facilitates effective communication, preserves language integrity, and enhances overall communication skills. The general scheme for organizing sounds in a language typically involves classifying phonemes based on their manner of articulation, place of articulation, and voicing. These classifications provide a systematic framework for understanding and categorizing the various sounds that made up a language. Here's an overview of each classification feature. Manner of articulation. This classification refers to how the airflow is restricted or modified as it passes through the vocal tract to produce different sounds. Common manner of articulation categories include plosives or stops, fricatives, affricatives, nasals, and approximants. Place of articulation. This classification refers to where the obstruction or narrowing occurs during sound production in the vocal tract. Common place of articulation categories include bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, palatal, and velar. Voicing. This classification refers to whether the vocal cords are vibrating or not vibrating to produce voiced or voiceless sound productions, respectively. I will start with the consonants, which are the most important in our language. I'll discuss stops, nasals, fricatives, affricatives, glides, and liquids, beginning with consonants. Then I'll cover the vowel production in the vowel valley, including the schwa, diphthong, and R-controlled vowels. Phonemes, the building blocks of language, are the sounds that differentiate one word from another. In our systematic classification, each phoneme is categorized by its manner, place, and voice characteristics. English has 44 phonemes, a fact that some researchers debate. In this video, we'll focus on the widely accepted 44 phonemes, which consist of 24 consonant sounds and 20 vowel sounds. I will be starting with the stop consonants. The consonant P is a voiceless bilabial plosive. The sound is made by bringing both lips together to create a complete closure, blocking the airflow from escaping the mouth. Then the closure is suddenly released, resulting in a burst of air. The P makes the P sound, as in the beginning of the word popcorn. Consonant T is a voiceless alveolar plosive. The sound is made by placing the tip of the tongue against the alveolar ridge, creating a complete closure, blocking the airflow through the mouth. Then the closure is suddenly released, resulting in a burst of air. The T makes the T sound, like at the beginning of the word tug. Consonant D is a voiced alveolar plosive, similar to the T, but with the simultaneous vocal cord vibration. You can put your hand on your throat to feel the vibration. The D makes the D sound as in the beginning of drum. The consonant K is a voiceless velar plosive. The sound is made by raising the back of the tongue to the soft palate, creating a complete closure, blocking the airflow through the mouth. Then the closure is suddenly released, resulting in a burst of air. The K makes the K sound like in the beginning of kickstand. Consonant G is a voiced velar plosive, similar to K, but with simultaneous vocal cord vibration. The G makes the G sound like in the beginning of the word growl. The consonant M is a nasal bilabial sound. To produce the sound, both lips come together to create a complete closure, blocking the airflow through the mouth. Air is then directed through the nasal passage, causing vibration of the vocal cords and producing the nasal sound. The M makes a sound like in the beginning of marshmallow. The consonant N is an alveolar nasal. It is a voiced alveolar nasal produced by allowing airflow through the nasal passage while the tongue makes contact with the alveolar ridge, creating a closure in the oral cavity. Air is directed through the nasal passage, causing vibration of the vocal cords and producing the nasal sound. The sound the N makes is like at the beginning of the word noodle. The consonant NG, is a velar nasal. It is a voiced velar nasal made when the back of the tongue makes contact with the soft palate, creating a closure in the oral cavity. Air is directed through the nasal passage, vibrating the vocal cords and producing the nasal sound. You, again, feel this if you place your hand on your throat. You can hear the as in the end of the word singer. Let's break down the fricatives according to their manner and place of articulation, pronunciation. Consonant F is unvoiced, labiodental. To produce the sound, the lower lip lightly contacts the upper teeth, creating a narrow passage for air to flow through. As the air passes through this narrow opening, it creates friction, producing the fricative sound. The sound for F is as in the beginning of the word feather. Consonant V is a voiced labiodental fricative. The production of the V sound is similar to F, with the lower lip lightly contacting the upper teeth to create a narrow passage for airflow. However, in this case, the vocal cords vibrate, adding voicing to the sound. The sound for the V is V, as in velvet. Consonant TH is an unvoiced interdental fricative. The tip of the tongue is being placed between the upper and lower teeth, creating a narrow passage for the air to flow through. As the air passes through this passage, it creates friction, producing the voiceless fricative sound. The sound for voiceless TH is th, as in thought. Consonant TH also has a voice sound. The voice TH is an interdental fricative made by the tongue positioned between the teeth, creating a narrow passage for airflow. However, in this case, the vocal cords vibrate, adding a voicing to the sound. The voice TH makes the V sound, as in the end of the word breathe. Consonant S is an unvoiced alveolar fricative, made when the tongue is positioned close to the alveolar ridge in such a shape as to create a valley for airflow, but not touching it. And both upper and lower dentals are touching and creating a narrow passage of air to flow through. As the air passes through this passage, it creates friction, producing the voiceless fricative sound. The S makes the S sound like in the beginning of sunshine. Consonant Z is a voiced alveolar fricative. The production of the Z sound is similar to S, with the tongue positioned close to the alveolar ridge to create a narrow passage for airflow. However, in this case, the vocal cords vibrate, adding voicing to the sound. The Z makes the Z sound like in the beginning of zoo. Consonant SH is an unvoiced palatal fricative. The sound is made when the middle part of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate, which the sides of the tongue are close to the upper molars, creating a narrow passage for air to flow through. As the air passes through this passage, it creates friction, producing the voiceless fricative sound. The SH makes the sh sound, as in the beginning of the word shimmer. Consonant ZH is a voiced palative fricative. Production of the ZH sound is similar to SH, with the middle part of the tongue raised towards the hard palate while the sides of the tongue are close to the upper molars. However, in this case, the vocal cords vibrate, adding a voicing to the sound. The ZH makes the Z sound, as in the middle of the word treasure. Consonant H is the unvoiced glottal fricative. Producing the H sound, the vocal cords are held open, allowing air to flow through the space between them. As the air passes through this narrow opening, it creates friction, producing the voiceless fricative sound. The H makes the sound, as in the beginning of house. Now let's look at a fricative, CH and J, which are palatal. CH is an affricate, which is in a combination of a stop and a fricative. Producing the CH sound, the middle part of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate, creating a complete closure in the stop to stop the airflow. Then the closure is released, allowing air to flow while simultaneously creating friction between the tongue and the hard palate, producing the affricative sound. The CH makes the ch sound, as in the beginning of the word cheese. The J, consonant J, is a voiced affricative, which is a combination of a stop and a fricative, made by the middle part of the tongue being raised towards the hard palate to create a complete closure to stop the airflow. Then the closure is released while simultaneously creating friction between the tongue and the hard palate, producing the affricative sound and vocal cord vibration. The J makes the J sound, as in the beginning of the word judge. Now we will talk about consonant glides according to their manner and place of articulation. Consonant Y is a palatal glide, semi-vowel. The sound is made by producing the Y sound. The middle part of the tongue is raised toward the hard palate, creating a narrow passage for airflow without a complete closure. The consonant glide Y makes the Y sound like in the beginning of the word yellow. Please note on the next two velar glides that due to my accent, they both are produced and sound the same. Consonant WH is an unvoiced velar glide, semi-vowel. The sound is a voiceless glide produced by rounding the lips and raising the back of the tongue towards the soft palate. There is no complete closure and the sound transitions smoothly into the following vowel. The WH makes the W sound like in the beginning of whisper. Consonant W is a velar glide, semi-vowel. The W sound is a voice glide produced by rounding the lips and raising the back of the tongue towards the soft palate. There is no complete closure and the sound transitions smoothly into the following vowel. The W makes the W sound at the beginning of the word wonder. The final consonants that will be discussed are consonant liquids, L and R. Consonant L is a voiced lateral liquid. To produce the L sound, the tip or the blade of the tongue makes contact with the alveolar ridge, creating a closure in the oral cavity. However, unlike other consonants where the airflow is obstructed in the center of the oral cavity, for L, the sides of the tongue are lowered, allowing airflow to pass over them, producing a lateral sound. The L makes the L sound like at the beginning of the word lullaby. Consonant R is a voiced approximate liquid. To produce the R sound, the middle of the tongue is raised towards the hard palate without creating a complete closure, while the tip of the tongue is lowered and tension is retained. There might be a slight contact between the tongue and the hard palate, but airflow is not significantly obstructed, allowing for the resonant liquid-like sound. The R makes the R sound like in the beginning of the word ripple. Vowels are produced with an open vocal tract, allowing for relatively uninterrupted airflow. They are classified based on their position of the tongue and the lips during production. Here's a breakdown of the vowel production, descriptions, and their position on the vowel valley and pronunciation. Long E is a high front closed vowel. The tongue is high in front in the mouth with the jaw relatively closed. It's located in the high in front position. The pronunciation of the long E sound is like in the end of the word be. Short I, near closed, near front, unrounded vowel. The tongue is located high in front, position in the mouth. The short I makes the I sound, like in the middle of the word sit and the beginning of the word it. Long A is a closed mid-front diphthong. The tongue starts mid-height and front position of the mouth, transitioning from more closed to more open. It is located in the closed mid-front position. You pronounce the long A like A in the end of say or bay. The short E is produced with the tongue positioned at the mid-height and front position in the mouth, but with a more open mouth position. The short E makes the eh sound as in the middle of bed or pet. Short A is a near open front unrounded vowel. The sound is produced with the tongue in low and in front in the mouth with the jaw relatively open. The short vowel A makes the ah sound as in the middle of the words cat or bat or the beginning of the word apple. Long I is produced as a diphthong starting with the tongue in the low and front position in the mouth, transitioning from a more open to more closed position. Long I spells I, like in the end of the word pie and bye. We are now at the bottom of the vowel valley and the mouth is open. The short O is produced with the tongue positioned at a mid-height and back in the mouth with lips rounded. The short O makes the ah sound as in the middle of the words pot and hot. We are now starting back up towards the top of the vowel valley. The short U is produced with the tongue position at mid-height and back in the mouth, with the jaw relatively open, located in the open mid-back position. The short U makes the sound, like in the middle of the words cut or but. The vowel AW is produced with the tongue positioned at a mid-height and back in the mouth with rounded lips. It's located in the open mid-back position. The AW makes the ah sound, like at the end of the word saw or draw. The long O is produced as a diphthong, starting with the tongue in the mid-high back and back position in the mouth, transitioning from more closed to a more open position with rounded lips. It's located in the closed mid-back position. The long O makes the O sound, like at the end of the word go and row. OO is produced with the tongue positioned near close to mid-height and back in the mouth with rounded lips. The location of the vowel space is the near close near back position. The OO makes the sound, like in the middle of the word put and book. The U is produced with the tongue position high and back in the mouth with rounded lips, located in the high back position. The U sound, like at the end of the word blue and true. The vowel YU consists of the closed front rounded vowel. It is located in the high front position. It makes the sound of oo, like at the end of few or the middle of muse. Now we will discuss the schwa. The schwa, a mid-central vowel sound, is prevalent in unstressed syllables of English words. It's characterized by its neutral pronunciation, adding to speech rhythm. Pronounced with a relaxed tongue and mouth, it's neither high nor low, front nor back. It's a neutral position, makes it short and reduced compared to other vowels, common in words like sofa or go. Its pronunciation may vary due to regional accents or individual speech sounds, and is called a lazy vowel. Now the diphthong vowels, OW and OI. OW is a closed mid-back round vowel followed by a glide. The tongue starts in the mid-height and back position and glides toward a more closed position with rounded lips. The OW is pronounced as the O at the end of glow or ow at the end of now. OI is an open mid-back round vowel followed by a glide. The tongue starts in a mid-height and back position and glides towards a more closed position with rounded lips. The OI is pronounced as an oi, like at the end of the word boy and joy. The R-controlled vowels are the last vowels that we will discuss. They are the UR, AR, and OR. UR is made in the mid-central rounded vowel. The tongue is mid-height and central in the mouth with rounded lips followed by the R sound. The UR makes the sound as in the middle of the words bird and surf. AR made by the open mid-back unrounded vowel. The tongue is low and back in the mouth with the mouth relatively open followed by the R sound. The AR makes the R sound like at the end of the word car and star. OR is made by open mid-back rounded vowel. The tongue is mid-height and back in the mouth with rounded lips followed by the OR sound. The OR makes the OR sound like in the middle of the words fork and storm.